I don't want to keep going on about actors, but they're the most important ones.
The Golden Globes is probably different. I probably do get a bit nervous because you only get one shot at it. I've never done those jokes before.
He was a jobbing actor, career not going that well if I'm being totally honest, who got his big break when I cast him in a remake of a show that I created.
Ricky Garvis has consistently raised concerns about the alleged crimes within the industry, yet his claims have often been dismissed in the past. However, his recent persistence suggests he may have stumbled upon something truly significant. Garvis is now shedding light on Hollywood's purported attempts to blackball black artists, and the revelations are nothing short of startling. So let's get started without any ado.
We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy.
But first, let's talk about how he thinks he is also getting blackballed. Ricky Gervais recently navigated a turbulent period, triggered by a recent controversy surrounding a joke featured in his upcoming Netflix special, Armageddon. In a series of candid statements, Gervais has revealed his belief that he is being targeted by a deliberate campaign, resulting in significant losses in various aspects of his life. Gervais humorously references terminally ill children, incorporating the term baldy and the R slur. The contentious nature of the joke has sparked significant backlash, with over 12,000 individuals signing a Change.org petition urging Netflix to remove it from the scheduled debut. Following the contentious moment in Armageddon, Gervais addresses the audience, emphasizing that these are jokes and clarifying that he doesn't use the R word in his real-life conversations.
That's why it annoys me when people say, oh yeah, humans, we're the most evolved. We're not the most evolved. We're no more evolved than the slug or the snail. People go, oh, come on, look at them. Yeah.
Attributing it to playing a role in his comedic performance. He said, "These are all jokes, all right? I don't even use that word in real life, the R word. I'm playing a role. I am writing this petition as a parent whose child bravely battled cancer." The recent skit by Ricky Gervais on Netflix, where he refers to terminally ill children as baldy, is not just disrespectful but also deeply hurtful. The description reads in part, "In a recent interview on BBC Radio 5 Live's Headliners podcast with Nihal Arthanayake, Ricky Gervais addressed what he deemed as faux outrage directed at him and drew a comparison between those expressing discontent and hecklers. Dismissing the criticism, Gervais asserted, "I can play to a million people. I won't get a complaint. As soon as it goes on Netflix or as soon as someone writes up a joke that says this is offensive, people go, oh, that's offensive. They haven't even heard the joke. They weren't there. Ignore them. They don't count. They have no effect on me. They don't count. They're hecklers." The petition advocating for the removal of the controversial joke from Gervais' Netflix special is led by Anna Villa, identified as a parent whose child bravely battled cancer, as mentioned in the petition's description. The recent skit by Ricky Gervais on Netflix, where he refers to terminally ill children as baldy, is not just disrespectful, but also deeply hurtful, Villa writes. It mocks the courage and resilience of these young fighters who face their illness with grace and beauty despite their baldness. Anna Villa, the organizer of the petition, asserts that Ricky Gervais' jokes not only crossed the line of good taste, but also demonstrated a lack of compassion. She describes them as a disrespectful gesture, particularly to children fighting serious illnesses and their families who support them through challenging journeys. In the petition, Villa emphasizes, "Our children are not a punchline, their lives aren't a joke." She goes on to demand the immediate removal of the offensive skit from Netflix, arguing that comedy should never derive from someone else's pain, especially when it involves innocent children grappling with life-threatening illnesses. In response to the criticism, Gervais acknowledged that offending people is an occupational hazard for comedians. He highlighted the impact of social media, likening it to a form of heckling through digital platforms, stating, "They just want a reaction. Being ignored has the same psychological effect as being slapped in the face, so I really enjoy ignoring people." Ricky Gervais clarified his approach to comedy and politics, explaining that while he generally avoids delving into political discussions, he adopts left-wing or right-wing personas on stage as per the needs of the joke. Dismissing the notion that jokes reflect the comedian's true beliefs, he emphasized, "Some people think that a joke is a window to the comedian's true soul. It's just not true. It's a joke." Addressing critics of his new special, Gervais expressed his acceptance of their right to dislike it and choose not to attend the show. However, he affirmed his commitment to pursuing what he loves and acknowledged the diversity of opinions among his audience. audience. Gervais also took to Twitter to issue a content warning about his stand-up special, outlining the controversial topics he covers. In the tweet, he stated, "If you don't approve of jokes about any of these things, then please don't watch. You won't enjoy it and you'll get upset." In this show, I talk about death, pedophilia, race, religion, disability, free speech, global warming, the Holocaust, and Elton John. He advised those who disapprove of jokes about these subjects to refrain from watching, as it may not align with their sensibilities and could cause distress. Gervais' previous Netflix special, Supernature, similarly drew criticism for its jokes mocking trans people, with the LGBTQ advocacy group GLAAD calling the comedy hour dangerous and saying it consists of anti-trans rants masquerading as jokes.
I use the old-fashioned sexist trope that women aren't funny. Now, in real life, I know there are loads of funny women. Like,
Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos has come to the defense of comedians Ricky Gervais and Dave Chappelle amid controversy surrounding their respective stand-up specials. Sarandos stated that comedians occasionally cross the line, suggesting that this is a part of their craft. Dave Chappelle, renowned for his support of fellow comedians, notably refrained from backing a colleague recently, leading to speculation about potential motives behind his decision. Observers have pointed out the apparent inconsistency, highlighting instances where other comedians who made similar jokes didn't face the same level of backlash or cancellation as Chappelle did. One of them wrote, "Ricky Gervais is the CM Punk of stand-up comedy. He don't give a what other people thinks as long as he exposed their unpleasant smell. Hollywood is so rotten as hell. We're behind you, Ricky." Another one added, "He's our national treasure. You can tell he was born working class because he's honest and not a P or P lover. Not best suited to Hollywood or being a criminal court judge here in Britain. Hollywood should get a surprise napalm party." So in context of this, reportedly, Ricky is now naming artists who potentially are facing the same situation as his, and the first one named in the supposed list is Sylvester. The rumors about his blackballing started when he announced he is leaving Cali. Sylvester Stallone, the iconic actor behind the original character, is noticeably absent, sparking speculation about potential industry hurdles or rifts. Since his debut as Rocky Balboa in 1976, Stallone's character has become a cinematic legend, evolving across nearly 5 decades and multiple sequels. Now, as Creed III geared up for release on March 3rd, the absence of Stallone raises eyebrows, leaving fans curious about the direction of the franchise. The upcoming film follows Adonis Donnie Creed, the son of Apollo Creed, as he grapples with his past while facing a resurfaced old adversary after 18 years.
I spent the last 7 years of my life living out my wildest dreams. Bianca, Rocky.
Creed III brings several groundbreaking changes to the franchise. Notably, Michael B. Jordan, who has portrayed Adonis since his breakthrough role in 2015's Creed, is poised to make his directorial debut. Additionally, in a significant departure, Sylvester Stallone, the iconic figure synonymous with the Rocky films, will not be seen on screen for the first time in a Rocky installment. However, Stallone still played a pivotal role behind the scenes as a producer for the project.
Sly, let it be known, that he wasn't coming back for this one, but I think, his essence and his spirit is always going to be a little bit of Rocky.
The absence of Sylvester Stallone from the 9th installment of the Rocky franchise has been widely noted, yet the reasons behind it remain complex and shrouded in mystery. In an article for Men's Health, Stallone revealed that he will not participate in future Rocky films as long as Irwin Winkler, a former friend and producer of the original film, remains involved with the project. Stallone, whose own life story mirrors that of Rocky with its rags to riches narrative, has been unwavering in his stance, stating, "You can't make peace with someone who's been so nefarious in my opinion." However, the specific details of the feud between the two individuals remain unclear. The roots of the discord trace back to 1976 when Stallone, facing financial difficulties, sold the rights to Rocky to Winkler for an amount that now pales in comparison to the immense revenue generated by the 9 Rocky films at the box office and through merchandising. Despite Rocky standing as one of the most successful sports franchises in film history, Stallone does not share in the broader financial success beyond his initial payment for his acting roles. Given that Stallone authored the screenplay for Rocky and essentially birthed the lucrative franchise, he feels aggrieved that Winkler is reaping the lion's share of the profits. In this case, it seems Stallone may have a valid grievance.
Do you kind of make peace at a certain point?
No,
or
you can't make peace. I mean, let's be realistic here. You can't make peace when someone has been so
The recently released documentary Sly on Netflix provides viewers with a revealing look into Sylvester Stallone's remarkable underdog journey, catapulting him to become one of the most triumphant and acclaimed stars of the 1980s. While showcasing the inspiring aspects of his rise to fame, the documentary also delves into the personal costs of Stallone's relentless ambition, specifically highlighting the injuries he endured due to performing his own stunt work.
What is healthier? To live under the illusion and still have a little glimmer of hope that you could have been great?
Stallone reminisces in the documentary, stating, "Dolph Lundgren, he pulverized me," and reveals that the impact resulted in a 9-day hospitalization. The severity of the situation prompted an urgent transfer of Stallone from the film's set in Vancouver, British Columbia, to a hospital in Santa Monica, California. These details were shared by Stallone in an interview with Ain't It Cool News in 2006, underscoring the gravity of the incident and its impact on his well-being. "Later that night, my heart started to swell, which happens when the heart hits the chest. And then my blood pressure went up to 260, and they thought I was going to be talking to angels," Stallone said in Sly. He continued, "Next thing I know, I'm in intensive care where I'm surrounded by nuns. I thought, okay, that's curtains." In the Hollywood Reporter's 35th anniversary retrospective in 2020, Stallone disclosed a gripping behind-the-scenes moment from the filming of the iconic fight scene with Dolph Lundgren in the 4th Rocky installment. According to the report, Stallone directed Lundgren to deviate from the planned choreography for the significant fight day. "Just go out there and try to clock me," Stallone conveyed to Lundgren, as documented by the outlet. "For the first minute of the fight, it is going to be a free-for-all." In the documentary Sly, as he reflects on his experiences, the Oscar winner candidly shares insights into the toll his commitment to performing his own stunts has taken on his body. Stallone acknowledges, "I push it, that's why I've had 5 back operations. I knew." Sylvester Stallone's distancing from the Rocky franchise isn't solely due to financial disagreements. He has also voiced discontent with the creative direction taken by Irwin Winkler. Specifically, Winkler's decision to greenlight a spin-off deal for Dolph Lundgren, reprising his role as Ivan Drago, has fueled Stallone's dissatisfaction. In critiquing Winkler, Stallone went to the extent of labeling him a parasite and accused him of picking clean the bones of another wonderful character I created. The choice of such strong language, including likening Winkler to a vulture, underscores the evident strain in their professional relationship. This stands in stark contrast to the collaboration that once brought one of film's most iconic figures to life, signaling a significant and palpable rift between the two creators.
So nefarious, in my opinion, so horrible, because everyone made out well.
Despite initially being open to starring in 8 consecutive films, including leading up to Creed III, Sylvester Stallone has recently set boundaries. His substantial net worth of $400 million as of 2022 suggests that financial concerns are not the driving force behind his decision. While Stallone denies it's about the potential millions he might have missed over the past 47 years, the idea of approaching billionaire status may still be a consideration. Nevertheless, the actor insists that the issue goes beyond finances and expresses a desire to create a meaningful legacy for his family. Stallone wants to leave a lasting gesture for them, saying, "I wrote it. I thought it would be nice to say, here's the gesture, darling. Beautiful children, beautiful wife. When I'm long gone, this is you. This is what I made for you." Undoubtedly, Stallone's inability to secure the rights to the franchise for future generations is a bitter realization. Despite already possessing generational wealth that could sustain the Stallone legacy for the next century, the frustration arises from not having complete autonomy over the destiny of his creation, Rocky. The involvement of individuals like Irwin Winkler in determining the franchise's future appears to be a source of discontent for Stallone.
But to get the rights, I've never heard of that in my life. Spielberg doesn't have the rights to Jaws. In other words, the studio owns it. How he got that, I don't know, which means I have to beg him.
After Sylvester is Wesley Snipes. Over the years, Wesley has gained the hate of many people. Given the demanding nature of the film industry, it's understandable why certain actors, including Brad Pitt, compile lists of individuals they prefer not to collaborate with again. Ryan Reynolds, in a similar vein, has made the decision to avoid a repeat of the challenging experience he had on the set of Blade Trinity. As a result, the Deadpool actor has no intentions of working with Wesley Snipes in the future. The intricacies of on-set dynamics and personal experiences can profoundly influence actors' choices when it comes to selecting their future collaborators.
King or why?
No,
just don't think so. I've done enough comic book properties. I mean, I would never play another comic book character again.
Before his iconic roles in Deadpool and Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds was part of another superhero film. Blade Trinity, released in 2004, is the third installment of Marvel's Blade trilogy. Directed and written by David S. Goyer, the film features Wesley Snipes as the vampire-fighting superhero Blade, with a supporting cast including Ryan Reynolds, Jessica Biel, Chris Christopherson, Dominic Purcell, Parker Posey, and WWE wrestler Triple H.
Are you out of your damn mind?
Despite its promising premise, Blade Trinity received criticism, earning a 24% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Both critics and fans disapproved of the film's reliance on cliché themes, lackluster plot excitement, and perceived mediocre acting from the cast. The movie's commercial performance reflected this disappointment, opening with just $16 million and accumulating a lifetime gross of a little over $52 million, significantly lower than the box office success of the trilogy's previous entries.
Ability, it's in Marvel's hands, and they're controlling the pace and the flow with that. The confidence has been good.
Following the disappointment of Blade Trinity, a spin-off series titled Blade the Series emerged in 2006, featuring Kirk Sticky Jones as Blade. Unfortunately, the series faced an early demise, being canceled after just one season comprising 13 episodes. Despite the challenges, Wesley Snipes demonstrated a profound passion for his work, particularly evident in his dedication to the Blade trilogy.
They see the value in it. We see the value in it. I'm still in shape enough and fit enough to handle the roles, so we'll see where it goes. I don't really know what's going to happen with it yet.
The movie's cinematographer Theo Van de Sande revealed to Entertainment Weekly that Snipes exhibited remarkable commitment to the project. However, this dedication often led to conflicts with directors, as well as other cast and crew members. Matters escalated to the point where Snipes sued the production company post-filming, citing issues with withheld payment.
Everything else, it just started working. I had a lot of input in everything, actually. But we have to find something that's practical. He has a code.
Compounding the challenges, Snipes adopted a method acting approach to portray his character in the movie. He maintained his character's cool and stoic personality between takes, keeping a physical distance from his co-stars, consistent with his character's demeanor. This choice resulted in tension on the set.
And did some innovations on it, brought it up to date, made it funky, made it slick and beautiful.
In an effort to counterbalance Snipes' reserved characterization, Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds turned to improvisation to infuse a sense of fun into the filming process. However, Snipes was reportedly displeased with this approach, particularly because Reynolds frequently attempted to break him out of character. Despite potential drama on the set of Blade Trinity, Ryan Reynolds appears to reflect positively on the experience of working on the movie. In a 2012 interview with IGN, Reynolds acknowledged that his involvement in the film provided an opportunity for him to refine his acting skills.
I think it's fine. I've done it already, so I don't necessarily. I'm not passionate about Hannibal King the way I'm passionate about Deadpool. So Deadpool to me is like a religion. It means everything to me. So.
One person wrote on his internet, Wesley Snipes' take was memorable and fully formed that it fundamentally changed and shaped the character, much like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man did with the character 10 years later. Another one added, and this right here is where I think they were frustrated with Snipes. While working on the film, his input on this franchise changed the outlook on Blade completely. He made a character that was cool into a and his influence is still present today. Interestingly, Reynolds expressed no ill will towards Wesley Snipes, despite any reported on-set conflicts. He conveyed a sense of respect for Snipes, recognizing him as a method actor. Reynolds, however, humorously noted that he never felt he truly met Wesley Snipes. Instead, he felt he only encountered the character of Blade. "I never met Wesley, I only met Blade," he shared with IGN. Unhesitant to delve into controversial subjects that may discomfort some, Cat Williams has also openly addressed issues that have seemingly incurred the displeasure of certain factions within the industry. Multiple incidents indicate that Hollywood might be actively seeking to distance itself from Cat, possibly in response to his unwavering and unyielding stance on these matters.
Why? Because you know ain't nobody gonna sleep with him. You only got Tiffany Haddish. She been doing comedy since she was 16. You can't tell me your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke.
You often hear that truly understanding the inner workings of an industry requires first-hand experience. Comedian Cat Williams recently provided some intriguing insights that shed light on this notion. Williams hinted at significant revelations concerning many Black artists' careers.
Those are just facts, sir.
How many is that total?
9.
So you've done 9
Yeah.
filmed comedy stand-up specials.
Without ever getting financed or having a deal with.
Cat's disclosure about his former idol might be surprising to some, but the subsequent revelation is even more shocking. He asserted that Steve Harvey, a favorite among many, has purportedly made a deal involving his soul with Hollywood.
I think Steve Harvey some stand-up man. No, he kissed the old girl who owned TV One. He used to kiss as he had the radio.
It's the same guy who...
Certainly, Cat Williams is widely acknowledged as one of the funniest comics of his generation, celebrated for his unfiltered humor and dynamic performances in successful stand-up specials. Despite his undeniable talent and recognition among Hollywood's comedy elites, Williams has not achieved the same level of mainstream exposure as some of his peers. A supporter noted, unlike Kevin Hart, he hasn't embraced leading roles in blockbuster movies, and he doesn't host a show like Steve Harvey. Being hopeless, he once even said, "I'm just going to go ahead and announce my retirement from stand-up. I'm kinda done. I've already discussed it with my kids. I wasn't really going to do it on a Seattle street. I was going to Los Angeles and do it in the offices of ICM or Live Nation." Persistent rumors have circulated, suggesting that Cat Williams had been blacklisted from the entertainment industry, sparking questions about why he hadn't attained the same level of success as figures like Steve Harvey. It's worth noting that Williams and Harvey have had a strained relationship for over a decade, and there seems to be a significant reason contributing to their ongoing discord.
Well, you know, to be honest with you, Frankie, I didn't know nothing about this concept. When the promoter told me about it in October, I shot it down, because that ain't how I've ever promoted a show.
To understand the roots of their feud, we need to go back to December 2008 when Cat Williams openly criticized Steve Harvey before a Christmas season show. This incident marked the beginning of their conflict, which has persisted for over a decade. It's important to acknowledge that both Cat Williams and Steve Harvey have had disagreements with other comedians, and this particular instance was no exception. The genesis of their feud can be traced back to a public challenge by Cat Williams. He boldly asserted that he could surpass Steve Harvey and claim the title of the King of Comedy during an upcoming New Year's Eve show where both comedians were headlining.
Do you consider yourself a king of comedy? Where the cat?
No, they consider that.
Oh, that.
Like when after Bernie left, them same 3 guys I'm telling you about, the Kings.
Yeah.
Right.
Williams has also alleged that Harvey, who starred as a high school music teacher on 1996's The Steve Harvey Show, lifted the premise of his show from comedian Mark Curry. Curry starred as teacher Mark Cooper on the sitcom Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, which debuted in 1992. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had, Williams said. Now, Steve got a sitcom where he's the principal and he wears a suit. Williams also dissed Harvey's acting chops, skewering Harvey's claim that he didn't want to pursue a film career. "You couldn't be a movie star," Williams said. "There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asked for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You have to have range." In a recent performance at the Apollo Theater, Monique didn't hold back on her feelings toward Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and Oprah Winfrey. During her comedy routine, she openly discussed the strained relationships she's had with them, dating back to her standout performance in Daniels' Precious in 2010. Monique claimed that since then, she's only been in 4 films, attributing this to what she terms their whiteballing tactics. Surprisingly, she's been speaking out about being blackballed by this trio since 2015.
And that's when he said, "Mama, you've been blackballed." And I said, "Well, why have I been blackballed?" And he said, "Because you didn't play the game."
In response, Lee Daniels told The Hollywood Reporter that Monique's demands during Precious didn't quite jive with the campaign, which rubbed some folks the wrong way. But he still considers her a friend and is open to working with her in the future. Monique fired back during her Apollo set, calling out the lack of fairness and equal pay, and she didn't mince words.
"What we're asking you, CBS, don't pay us anymore. but don't pay us any less.
In 2009, Monique faced a dilemma when it came to promoting Precious, a film co-produced by Oprah and Tyler Perry. Despite their expectations for her to hit the press circuit for free, Monique, already fatigued from filming, chose to prioritize spending time with her family instead. This decision led to her being labeled as difficult and hard to work with. Subsequently, negative media portrayals emerged, and her career suffered a downturn despite her Oscar win. Monique has been outspoken about seeking an apology from Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels. Well, seems like blackballing is a ritual from the very start, as artists like Charlie Sheen also went through this. In 1995, Charlie Sheen testified in the tax evasion trial of Heidi Fleiss, admitting to spending over $50,000 on her S workers. Speculation arose about his potential S addiction. Sheen's tumultuous personal life continued with a short-lived marriage to Donna Peel in 1995, followed by a highly publicized incident with Brittany Ashland in 1997, resulting in charges of battery and assault. Despite a plea deal, Sheen's troubles persisted, leading to a D-overdose in 1998 and subsequent court appearances due to probation violations. These events shed light on Sheen's struggles with substance abuse and personal relationships. Then, after an 8-year hiatus from directing since his debut with the 2014 film The Water Diviner, Oscar winner Russell Crowe returned behind the camera for his latest movie, Poker Face. Crowe not only took on the lead role, but also wrote the screenplay and directed the film. In an interview with RadioTimes.com, Crowe shared that the extended break from directing was due to the passing of his close friend Andrew Lesnie, a cinematographer who had worked on The Water Diviner and collaborated with Peter Jackson on The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit movies. I had a very unfortunate situation arise after The Water Diviner, because in reality, I should have just gone straight on to the next film and the next film, Crowe explained. But my partner in crime, Andrew Lesnie, who had been a friend of mine for 20+ years, he passed away, and he was the Costello to my Abbott, if you know what I mean. I found it very, very difficult to think about being on a set without him. However, people still believe that the real was something else that he might be trying to hide from the public. Anyway, from these incidents, Ricky has somehow tried to convey his message that the blackballing ritual is carried on by the potential elites of the industry. However, one thing might be common here is that the artists who were tried to get blackballed were all who tried to somehow the alleged dark actions operated in the industry. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.